Hello, everyone. We are live.
There we go. Just in time to do a little bit of social media. We might do that. Talking about fun things in the pre-show, like doomsday earthquakes and fire. You know, all the things to get you excited about open source and Linux. I'm just going to send out maybe a little tweet. With, what do I say, LWDW? Because nobody knows what that is.
Yeah.
Right. And you know what? I'm going to post that to Mastodon.
Cool.
Maybe. Let's find out. Can we get to Mastodon? M-A-S-T. That's how I roll, man. What was it?
Use the vanilla site.
Mass.linuxgamecast.com. The reason I use that's because it operates like TweetDeck for the most part.
Yeah.
And I can kind of almost navigate it. So let me get that up. That's together. I don't think we need to post it anywhere else. And there we go. Now we got video. I want to keep an eye because I don't know if the bridge was up and working yesterday.
Oh, yeah, that was
I didn't get a chance. I just thought about that. So I'm going to go check Stream Manager. And let's see if it does work. Oh, that's too happy. Too happy. Less happiness. There we go.
Ben.
Let's see if it goes that way. Okay, so, well, that's showing up on Twitch. It's not getting there. And it's only working one way.
Okay.
But it's showing up on screen, so it's not a big deal. I'll figure it out. Jordan's busy dealing with an Internet Explorer stuff.
Yeah. Poor Jordan. Internet exploder. No fun.
I just can't imagine anybody still using IIS in production. Like, IIS and...
Boop, Steve Husband. Beep, beep. Mirror.
IIS Express isn't supported in production?
Blip, blip. Hi, Artherin.
Why would you still use IIS in production, though? This is going to bug me a little bit. And
I know.
Maybe if you got some like ASP stuff, maybe. I don't know. I'm assuming it's still supported, right? ASP
just barely.
Or API on IIS, configure IIS production. How does this even work? Oh no, that looks as... It's got next buttons. I'm not running a web server that has next buttons.
Yeah, this is true, Mir. Yeah, I was telling Ben that I've never used Windows web server, but I've used Windows Server many times. In fact, I used to use it for production.
I've
that's good, Steve Husband.
Apache's effectively existed. I've never been in this situation where I'd have to use IIS for anything.
Yeah, same here.
But maybe if you were deploying an intranet, maybe there has to be a use case for it. And I'm assuming, like, I cannot think of a singular use case to have IIS that would be web facing unless you were just tied into some legacy stuff at this point.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. I'm sure somebody out there has an argument, but they're not listening to this.
Yeah.
Universal translator. See, it's a joke because I was talking about that in the pre-show the other day. You remember in Farscape, like right at the beginning when Crichton gets lands on Moya?
Oh, yeah.
And he gets out and everybody's speaking their crazy moon languages. He's like, I can't understand anybody. And that little droid runs over and he shoots him in the ankle with the translator microbes. And then he can understand anything. And I remember watching that when it first aired, thinking to myself, I'm like, they should have rolled with this. Everyone's lips should have been out of sync for the rest of the series.
Yeah. Yep.
That would have been frustrating, but it would have been more accurate. I'm like, well, actually. So there we go. That is a thing. All right. What am I missing? Oh, I got to cut those on. What do we got? Okay. Open office. Not open office. It's still going to be open office to me.
I know. Yeah. It's Libra now.
ASCII art, neural lamp modeling, and Raspberry Pis on drugs. That's going to be our thing. So what? We got about 5 minutes before we're going to go live and start recording.
Okay.
I got my drinks. I'm ready to go.
Okay. I will be right back.
Let me get up in the notes. And cool. Do I want to pull that up? No, I don't want to pull that up. Has there anybody... I posted this in Discord yesterday. I don't know if anybody saw it or cared, because I barely care at this point, but I was more amused that this is... NVIDIA is doing the super thing again, allegedly, right? All right. Remember the supers? The 20 series? After you bought your 2060 and you're like, hey, I'm good. And they're like, how about a 2060 super? I'm like, jeez, man. But if true, we are going to get a new super series. And what's going to be the distinguishing factor of the new super series? You guessed it. RAM. You can get 4 additional gigabytes of RAM for, I don't know, we're NVIDIA, we're feeling generous. $100. $100. I don't know. I mean, what are you doing, NVIDIA? What are you doing? Like, this is just silly. A 12 gig 4060 super for $400. 12 gig 4060. I say this is a I got a 3060. This is going to be an interesting benchmark, isn't it? Where's this guy going to sit against? Do you think it... Okay. I'm willing to bet money the 4060 is going to be less than 10%. There's going to be, man, I'm going to say 7% max performance difference between the 3060 and the 4060. 12 gig. Kind of interested in the 4070 though. I don't even want to admit that. Don't tell anybody I said that. A 16 gig 4070. But again, $700. You can just go play in traffic. And then the 40. Now we're just into Ludo prices. Once I see 1,000 in a video card, nope. This is too much. This is too much. Intel, hear me. Hear my words. Announce the release date for Battle Mage. Because that feels like what is going to happen. I can get behind this 3060. I know I can. It's just... I'm running into situations to where I've found ways to make it grumpy with doing things. 3060 is a good card. How about this, NVIDIA? Release the 3060 Ti with 16 gigs. I'll buy one of those. I just can't imagine spending that kind of money. But NVIDIA is just like, whatever, man. We don't care. I was kind of hoping AMD was going to do something with their low-end offerings, but AMD didn't. That disappointed a lot of us. It disappointed more people than are vocal about it, because some people just can't bring themselves to say anything negative about our AMD. They're upset about it. They thought they were going to get some good low-end GPUs. But like, I can't say anything bad about AMD. People get mad at me. I'm like, man.
Yay. Oh, look at what I have as my drinking device.
It's celery.
Sorry. Steve, when I brought this home when I went shopping, he's like, oh God, what's that?
I'm trying to think of like...
Tropical dildo. It's so cute, but I like it because it holds a lot of water.
That looks like something I would knock right the F over. I would, man, I managed to knock this over the other day, and this thing is ginormous, wow. Right? And it had quite a bit of liquid in it. I booped it, and it went flying. I'm like,
oh boy.
I'm glad it had the lid on it. It was a minimal stuff to clean up, but... I try not to run into stuff. It was all the straw's fault. The straw was hanging over a corner that it was going around, and I caught it, and it's like, I love you, Vin.
Yeah.
I'm like, let go of me, and it boom, 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 boom. I'm like, big deal. So, anyway, then I went and played with string. Yeah, I gotta clean the straw out. That reminds me. That's something I was gonna do Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not gonna think about that every time you clean out a straw. I guess most of the time you're never gonna realize it. You're never gonna think about it. Why? Because you got disposable straws. I got stainless steel straws. So I got a little straw cleaner that I clean them out with. Ew is all I will say. Ew.
Yeah. I've got a lot of these
like plastic
novelty
built-in
cups.
ones.
Yeah. And then you have to clean those out.
Mm-hmm. It's nasty. And I don't even have anything nasty to drink. It's just you start thinking about what's in the stuff you're drinking, right?
Yeah.
Like, so who's going to buy the Apple VR? Anybody got to buy one of those?
No, but I do think it's cool. Vision OS.
Vision?
The Vision Pro is the name of the device.
Is there the Vision Amateur?
No. I have a feeling the consumer one will just be called, like the lower tier one will be called just Vision. I think that's where Apple's going, like the usual cadence of naming. So.
It's its own self-contained thing. So It's got the M1 and it's got another chip on it, and it's got a bazillion cameras shooting infrared laser pew-pews into your eyeballs. So it's pretty cool. You can use Unity. It's got its own operating system. And the one thing Apple hated to do, because you don't see anything about it, is can we get show me the thing? Oh, it's doing this thing. Okay, now first off, that's a separate OLED screen front facing.
Yeah, for the eyes.
It'll show your eyes. Do we like that?
It's a little creepy, but it's better than the alternative of having nothing there. I think that's kind of innovative.
Because maybe when I see this, okay, I immediately think of this.
Oh yeah, the forest. Yep, a very good episode.
Like, hey, we turned out the lights. That's immediately where I go with it.
Yeah.
But I think the one thing that surprised me, especially from an Apple product, and we're going to take a look at this before we get started, is we are more than halfway down the page. Oh, and he disappeared. Come back, my man. This is our first. There's a big chunky wire and a thing you got to carry in your pocket. You know Apple did not want to do that.
Yeah.
And I think it's just the battery, too. I mean, it's interesting. I don't know. But what is it, $3,400?
Yeah. Let's see. Yes.
I wouldn't be able to talk to somebody. Okay, you know what? I take that back. I would only... Okay, if I had this, the first thing that's going to come out for this is googly eyes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Because if I had to do that, I would just have rolling around googly eyes on it. While I was trying to have a serious conversation with somebody. Yeah, the R1. It's got the M2 and the R1 in it.
Mm-hmm. Well, someone in our community has developed VR and AR program that's similar. The Stardust AR developed by Nova, our Patreon, who I interviewed. He's come quite along with that project, and he did a talk at the last scale, and a lot of the features that he had in his software, Mac is using in theirs. But that's been in the works for a while. But leave it to Apple to massage it and make it beautiful, and so the average person can use.
They put a price tag on it that the average person can't afford.
Yeah, true.
Apple's come a long way from being like the hippie for the people, affordable computer company built in a garage, on a breadboard. Like Woz isn't there anymore.
Yeah.
That's like a weird. Yeah, Apple is a fashion. I think of Apple as more of a fashion company these days.
Yeah, a fashion and a.
I have my watch and my
culture.
watch accessory.
Yeah. They are. That's why they hire fashion designers to do their stuff.
Man, Johnny Ives. I wonder what he's up to these days.
I really like it. They brought a lot more to the table than I thought they would, because they've been working on this for ages, and it's been rumored on what it was going to do, but I think they're trying to do something progressive and unique, at least especially with the eyes on the outside. It's your eyes people are looking at. So it's not so creepy, but it's still creepy. But it looks better than having nothing there, especially if it's a device you're going to wear around town, like a Google Glass, for instance.
You're only going to wear it for 2 hours.
Yeah, yeah. Until you go to the nearest Starbucks and charge up.
Yeah.
Another thing to wear at Starbucks.
I wouldn't suggest wearing one of those, like, outdoors, man.
Yeah.
Don't worry, they'll pass the laws
things
soon enough. And then, like, you're not allowed to wear this. And you're going to get somebody who's at... Oh, let's think about how many days, how many months it's going to be until somebody gets in a automobile accident wearing one of those.
Yeah.
Maybe Apple had the foresight to prevent it from functioning if it's moving over a certain speed.
Yeah, that's very possible.
It's interesting to see what they did, because Apple bought the company that did the headsets for the Mario Kart ride.
Yeah, yeah.
And by all accounts, like, that's a really slick system. So who knows how this is going to work out. I'm always curious to see what Apple does, not because they're the first. They don't necessarily innovate, but they homogenize and file off all of the, so that normies are like, yay thing, and they might run out and buy it. Like, nobody predicted the iPhone was. I mean, I completely, the one missed call that I will fess up to, one of my earliest missed calls was the iPod. I saw the iPod, that got released. I had my Diamond Rio
Yeah.
at the time. And I'm like, that thing's dumb. Ain't nobody gonna buy that. A little dinky. It's got a hard drive in it, and and it was a little more expensive. And dead wrong. Wrong. I thought the iPod was going to be a flop, and lo and behold, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? But then
Lo
again,
and behold, we're partially we get to we can give them credit for of course the name podcast, but because of the popularity of them has led to the rise of Linux Gamecast. Or it could have been what Leo Laporte, netcasts you love by people you want.
Oh, is he still trying to do that?
No, he's changed it to podcast now.
Like, hey guys, it's Netcast, and everyone's like, no, it's not. Be quiet. Netcast. Apple did a couple of things. They did popularize podcasts.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
To some extent. But they never had a class and taught people how to make them.
Oh, yeah.
I think the biggest thing that came out of like that was when I think about the iPod, it's not necessarily podcast, it's the Apple Music Store, because they needed something to go along with it. Mm-hmm. And Apple was able to negotiate the deals for the music store, and they broke ground there. Like Steve Jobs went in there and played hardball with them. Yeah. And he got that done. Like that's the reason we have like digital music to this day, to this extent. So give him credit for that. We give him credit for that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There we go. And for everybody else, Apple bad, grr. I mean, whatever. They're just another soulless corporation.
Yeah.
I should be good. That is recording, and we can go ahead and get into this. People keep talking at podcast. What? Oh, okay. Don't mind me. I'm just typing. Here we go. You've been noticed, Scott.
Yeah. Scoots.
We can get into this. Let's talk about. I still weird out a little. Not even weird out. I'm just like, really, when you go to the Fedora list, and it's Fedora HyperKitty. Not kidding. It's Fedora HyperKitty.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I know.
Like, who wants a HyperKitty? Isn't this like a regular kitty, like destructive enough in one's house?
Yeah, it's a cute logo.
Yeah, with like mobile devices, you'll never catch me out and about with like playing with something. I carry a tablet with me if I'm going somewhere. If I can help it, I just leave the tablet in the boot. Whatever I'm driving at the time. I like carrying it. I'm broken. I like getting lost and not knowing where I'm at. That's one of my favorite things to do, especially in a new place, or just go driving and like, oh man, I have no idea where I'm at. Let's see if I can get back. That's always fun. But yeah, I don't like always being connected. I like to disconnect.
Yeah, me too. I try to as much as I can. Like when we go for walks and whatnot. I will bring my phone, but I keep it off. Or sleep. And I try not to answer notifications, the waterfall.
There's the, if I get in my car, every time I get in my car, if I'm taking a tablet with me, it goes in the boot just reflexively. And that's only bit me one time because I got stuck in this massive traffic jam. And like people were like getting out of their cars like, geez, how long have we been here? Like 2 hours. I'm like, fine. So I had to like get out and get something to do. I had like get out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never had an iPod. Never had an iPod.
Yeah, I have one with Linux on it. I bought it just for that. Like a used one on eBay.
The only thing I ever wanted was the that I never bought for whatever reason, because they weren't that expensive at all. They were like £100. Was the first generation portable CD players that played MP3s.
Yeah.
I wanted one of those, and I was like, nah, I just never got around to buying one.
Oh, okay.
I didn't have the time, and by that, and you look at it now, like even my basic like in-car stereo plays everything plays MP3s these days. All right, we're good, and yeah, now it's just your mobile devices, because even like a cheap phone or something like that, I'm assuming they got like 30 or 40 gigs or 60 gigs of storage on them.
I know. Yeah. I'm that person though. I usually have flax on my I have flax on my phone.
I just stream everything.
Yeah, I do that too. Lots of that. Lots of streaming radio stations.
I'll put it on Google Music, or I'll put it on Spotify, and just like. And I hadn't been doing that lately. Lately, what I do is I just have audiobooks playing in the background.
Yeah, that's fun too.
Where I kind of pay attention to them. Then you realize that, like, man, some of these stories need to be trimmed down a little bit. When you start playing an audiobook and you're doing something, you're kind of listening to it, and you're like, oh, I understand what the plot's going on. All right. This is our cast of characters. And you come back like 2 hours later.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
And
they're still on the character development.
They've like moved this far, and you're like, you know exactly what's going on. You're like, wait, you guys still haven't gotten to the thing you were talking about 2 hours? What? Oh, man. Nothing like a 16-hour long audiobook.
Yeah.
All right. You ready to get into this? I think.
Yes, I am, Ben.
Do this. Let's see what that hamburger menu does. Not much. All right. Let me get that set up. And there we go. We click that. We click that. And we wait.
All the things.
Well, this is usually the summoning for a car to come barreling out of the neighborhood.
Oh, yeah. True.
I was laughing. I was recording because I understand that this is fully a simulation and it's meant to just mess with me. This reality that we're living in.
Yes.
Because
Matrix.
I will typically, if I'm doing any type of like recording, I do it at like 1 o'clock, something like that. Not late for me because I stay up pretty late. But just to make sure everything's like perfectly silent and I don't have to worry about anything.
Oh, yeah. That is a good time to do it.
Yeah. And I'm doing my things, and I come in, I cut everything on. It's great. I don't have to worry about anything.
Don't have to worry about the lawnmower or the neighbor yelling or cars going by.
Maybe a plane. But even in the time, here's the thing, though. I get everything cut on. I'm like, okay, let's get this laid down. I was doing the mic test for the audio interface, and I sit down. I get everything cut on. I get mic plugged in, get the interface set up, and I hear beep. Beep, beep. There's a truck backing, like a big semi truck.
Yeah.
At 1:45 in the morning. And I'm like, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
This is a simulation, because like the second I started recording, I'm like, yeah.
Oh man. So you had to wait till more like 2 or 3 to do it.
No, it was like 10 minutes. I got up and laughed. It's just a running joke I have of like there's always going to be something. Yeah, the fart can cars. You took that's the my biggest thing is like the motorcycles. We got a couple of, I can't even call them kids, but they get the motorcycles and they like pulling, because I'm right here at the corner pulling out to the main road.
Oh,
and
so
they get right to the main, right to the end, and they go, rah, 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 and then they let go because then they're going fast and they get scared. I'm like, jeez. You know what? You know what? I used to like loud stuff too. Then I started recording things.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be that
You were
guy.
there one day, Van.
Yeah,
So
we were. We were. I mean, even on the computing side, I had the like tornado fans, the Vantech, the
yeah.
ones that would cut your fingers off. And I was like, yeah, sounds great. Not today. All right, everyone, let's get hop into it in 3. Hey everyone, welcome back to Linux Weekly, daily Wednesdays where we sit back, relax, take that midweek break, talk about some of the fun things going on in the world of Linux and open source. I'm Old Man Ben, joined by Jill Bryan, and everyone watching us live on Twitch, talking about loud cars, iPods, and Jill's undying love for the new Apple Vision.
Oh, it is innovative. It's very cool. I like the name Vision OS.
Who turned out the lights, Jill?
Yeah, who turned out the lights is absolutely
That's all I thought when I saw that. And I saw the eyes through the visor and like, isn't that a great feature? And I'm like, yes, to scare the absolute snot out of people in the dark it is.
Yeah.
Immediately where my brain went. I've been playing around with a bunch of stuff this week. Wrapping up this, and this is our universal sign of I'm getting close to being done with the review for the IO Station 24 from Focusrite because I've taken it apart. That's always a good sign. Why? Because it means I've finished all of the recording that I need, just in case. Because you don't take it apart and try to put it back together. It's like, oh, well, that doesn't work. That's going to be a short video. Looking forward to that. Got it back together. Everything works. Reasonably good on the repairability, but I'll have more about that in the video itself. And I'm getting everything ready for Debian 12. That's about to happen.
Yeah, exciting.
It's about to happen. I got all the boxes. I changed all the sources list over to Bookworm.
Bookworm, I love the name.
Good to go. No complaints. Been running testing on everything because I always like to be a little bit ahead. Most everything in here's running testing. I still got one box running Debian 10. What reasons? That's why. And yeah, after all that's done, hopefully I'll get the video out for Interfacing Linux maybe later this week, early Monday. Then we can all gather around and watch the ongoing implosion of Reddit. I don't think Reddit's long for this world. Have you been paying attention to what's happening with if you use Reddit? I've been using Reddit. My Reddit account is, I think, 16 years old. I've been there since almost day one. On mobile, they're mobile. They didn't have a mobile app for a long time. Then they bought a company, and it's just bad enough to where there's a really good ecosystem for third-party apps on Reddit. And I've been using Relay for Reddit for probably 7 years.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
And there's Reddit is fun, and Reddit Bacon Reddit or whatever.
Bacon Reddit, yeah.
And but they've changed the thing to where their API access,
having issues.
They got to pay for it now. And it's like 20 times more expensive than anyone else's.
Oh. They've gone the way of Twitter.
Twitter is affordable compared to this. This is brutal enough to where there's no other reason than they're doing it is to kill off third-party apps.
Oh, that's sad.
To where no one, like you would have to pay a monthly subscription in order for the app developers to even break even.
That's horrible. Then, well, I guess then you'll just use the website instead
Have you
of
been
the
to the
app.
website lately? Have you? I might be alone, but I use old Reddit, old.reddit.com.
I know you do. Yeah.
That's the only way Reddit makes sense to me, and I use a thing called Reddit Enhancement Suite on top of that, which really lets me dial in Reddit for how I want it to work. Every time I go to Reddit, like if we do it during a show or something like this, I have to like have a panic attack and go, "What is this? This is horrible. It's miserable. I have no idea like where I'm even at," because new Reddit is like Dig 4.0, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like Dig. Yeah, I prefer old Reddit myself, but sometimes I use the new one for Dig nostalgia.
I like just flat text. I spend my time like recently. I found I spend my time in Reddit, and I spend my time probably more on Hacker News and a couple of other places. Mm-hmm. But hey, That's it. Also, I'm fishing around, might be getting a good deal on a Kona capture card to test out because, last year, right at the end of last year, they added the support. Kona came in and added support to OBS. So I thought it would be interesting because it's going to be an involved process of like setting up an SDK, compiling OBS. I just want to see if it works. And Kona,
Nice.
they ain't cheap, but we're at like one of those cycles where people are dumping loads of the last gen onto eBay.
Oh, that's nice. Okay.
Yeah, right. So I'm like, all right, maybe I'm gonna grab one of these for like $100 and we'll get a little video out of it, play around with it. How about you, Joe Bryant?
Oh, well, besides adding this to my mug collection, this yellow palm tree that Ben isn't too keen on.
You know what? I think it's lovely, and I
It
have
is cute.
no complaints with it
Cute.
whatsoever. I said that just looks like something that's going to get knocked over.
Yeah.
For audio listeners, it's a real thin, narrow base, and to keep things extra balanced, it's got palm tree things to aid in,
falling over
messing up
and
the center
hitting.
of gravity, making it very top heavy, and giving you extra stuff to hit at the top of it.
And speaking of which, I moved it over because I'm going to show something else. So I got this really cute penguin blanket. It was actually a belated birthday gift from Linux Chicks-LA, Sharon. And I got it Sunday evening while me, Steve Husband, and the Linux Chicks had a nice dinner together. And it's just so cute. It's one of those blankets that keeps you warm on the couch. It's for your lap or to put around your back. It's a really small blanket, but it's perfect for me. And it's just so cute. And it's just so warm and fuzzy.
It does look like it's full of penguins.
Yeah, it sure is. That's my penguin army. Keep those penguins marching.
Oh, man. So what do we got to talk about this week, everybody? Outside of your Obi-Wan blankets.
Yes.
Your little palm tree lightsaber. It could be one of those things.
Well, we have
LibreOffice
an office that's flat.
It's going to get flat packs. And everyone's excited about this. They're super happy about this. No complaints. The internet itself is joyous. LibreOffice RPMs have been orphaned. That's right. That's right. Flatpak will be the recommended way to get install LibreOffice on RHEL and Fedora. Now, the interesting part to me is that we're adjusting our engineering properties for priorities, I should say, for RHEL workstations, focusing on gaps in Wayland, building out HDR support, and building out what's needed for color-sensitive work, and a host of other refinements required by workstation users. Okay, that's neat. A focus on professional graphic features certainly makes sense for workstations. I have 100% support for that. And turns out Red Hat has been a large contributor up till very recently, and about as big as Collaborabo,
Yeah.
And just by judging by the commits, then you're reading through at Fedora HyperKitty, list.fedoraproject.org. All these links are going to be in the show notes. People are like, really? We're doing flatpaks for LibreOffice? And listen, I'm sitting here going, one of the first things I do when I Debian install is remove LibreOffice. Like, why is that part of the base install? Flatpaks still got some problems. They do. And let's not pretend they don't. But, things like global menu, high DPI, VCL theming, they don't work with the official Flatpak on the latest KDE and Wayland. LibreOffice. Like, those are not insignificant problems. Maybe they can be overcome. And I don't think it's necessarily going to hurt anything. I think like the surprising thing to me was, they have people in the graphics and engineering team maintaining these. And like, why are they having to do that in the first place? So what do you think it is, Jill? Is this big bad IBM changing things for no reason, or is this just a big Flatpak taking over our Linux ecosystem?
Oh, no. Honestly, I think this is a great use of containerized software. they're essentially using the Flatpak apps as a way to transition from X11 to Wayland. And it makes life easier for them because they don't have to do, all the maintenance on it while they're transitioning. So it kind of makes sense. It works pretty well as a Flatpak. Yeah, and like you were saying, Red Hat has been a large contributor up to now, so it makes sense because Flatpak is their ecosystem.
Like, I'm not going to lose sleep about it one way or the other. I tried to get upset about this, but I'm not. Like, if you're going to be using Red Hat, if you're going to be using Fedora, Flatpak's part of your life. That's just part of the deal, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of like using Ubuntu and saying, wait a minute, they're changing this to a snap? I'm like, of course they are. That's
yeah. Well, I'm using SteamOS a lot lately. In fact, I did some of my show notes on my Steam Deck. And it's, got a Flatpak repository that works very nice. It's a very good immutable system. And I've been quite impressed with the development of Flatpaks and how quick the apps are launching and the overall functionality. So I think it's a really good, it's a good way, a great bridge for them, eventually creating one that's, DNF or a local install. So.
Well, I understand them keeping with Flatpaks, but I mean, all the benefits of Flatpak, you say immutable systems, those are neat, but I didn't.
Yeah, no, I know for desktop use, for home users. Yeah.
After playing with Silverblue, and I'm like, oh, I have to go through all of this to install an application?
Yeah.
Nah, I'm good. But, Flatpaks seem really good for developers and development teams, which always
absolutely easy to update, maintain.
I think it's always like the wrong foot to put out, though, Joe, because, like, what about the end users?
Yeah.
What about the end users? And the other argument to that is, but Vin, you're being silly. It's easier for developers, and it's going to simplify things. It's going to get the normal people to use Linux. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, have you looked around the room? Normal people don't run Linux.
Yeah.
Normal people don't install an operating system.
This is true. Although the Flatpak is actually kind of nice for, say you have, a relative that you want to give Linux to. It's a nice way to do it. Have them set up with Flatpaks, and they just search the FlatHub and the Flatpak store and install it.
That sounds
and then
like
they won't
giving
break
them a
anything.
Chromebook with a bunch of extra steps.
And that's what essentially, a Chromebook is, an immutable read-only file system that uses containers. And that's what it's the most popular way to use Linux is Chrome OS.
So you think about this. Do you want to turn your desktop and laptop into a Chromebook?
No.
Are you sure? Because
No.
it sure sounds like it.
Well, what's kind of nice is Fedora has a tool, it's called Toolbox, I believe, that you can install DNFs as well within the immutable system.
Yeah, I think there's like a we're at a bit of a time right now with competition's good. People call it fragmentation. I call it choice.
Yeah, absolutely.
And everyone's going to have their own thing because it's Linux. We're never going to boil down to like just one thing. It never happens, for good and for bad. But like LibreOffice, you're still going to be able to get Debian packages and whatnot. So
yeah, absolutely.
Don't panic. And I think the engineering resources are going to be better spent on Wayland, HDR support, and other stuff that you would need for actual workstation use.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine there's a huge audience. Feel free to write into the show, leave a YouTube comment, because I'm sure I'm wrong, because, the exception always proves the rule. And this one thing, this one place that relies on LibreOffice.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why a Red Hat should continue to make sure, You can just use the flat pack. It's not like, I mean, I don't even complain about, I wouldn't even be upset about the speed of flat packs with LibreOffice. Like, what was the last time? Like, LibreOffice is one of those programs you open once and it just stays open the rest of the day, right?
Yeah.
It's like a browser. If you gotta have that, it's running in the background. It's not a big deal. So, everyone, calm down now. ASCII art.
Yeah. Speaking of Flatpaks and FlatHub, here is a fun ASCII art app available as a Flatpak from the FlatHub, and it's a new app, so they haven't made a deb of it or a DNF install.
It looks so spooky.
Yeah, it's really awesome. The name is Calligraphy, and this lets you easily turn your text into cool ASCII banners. Just type in a word or sentence like LWDW, or you can, or if you're me, you need to say it correctly. You need to say the name of our show correctly. Just type in a word or sentence like LWDW, select a style, and voila! You have an impressive ASCII art text that you can use online to impress your friends, or me and Ven in our Discord chat. I had fun with LWDW and going through all the art styles, like there's graffiti, rounded, chunky, dot matrix style, cosmic, mini, pebbles, poison, and doom, of course. And it works so quickly. That's another nice thing. And the awesome thing about this is that Calligraphy is actually a GUI front end to PyFiglet, which is a pure Python implementation of Figlet. And Figlet is a command line tool used to generate ASCII text blocks, which I've been using for years. So, but it's really nice to have a GUI of this that just does it, auto magically. And, you can choose the art style without having to remember the command line arguments. Because there's a lot of art styles. There's probably looked like almost 100 of them.
Well, I mean, is it available for next step?
Yes. Figlet has been around a long time. And I mean, I did use it actually on MS-DOS and Amiga back in the day. And Unix. But it's been around. So this is a front end, a GUI front end for Figlet, and it works beautifully.
So then what do you do after you've generated the ASCII text?
You just cut and paste it into whatever social network you want to put it in.
Oh, you just use
Discord
it for graffiti.
Yeah, you could do that too.
My favorite thing about ASCII art, ASCII art is always entertaining, but my favorite thing is diseased ASCII art. When somebody tries to do ASCII art or an ASCII image and the formatting is wrong.
Oh,
then
yeah.
It's all shifted incorrectly and it's broken and it looks all diseased. And those are usually hilarious because somebody's usually trying to post something inappropriate or naughty. And they're trying to be edgy with it. And watching that fail just fills me with glee. And I'm like, oh, you tried, did you, you little edgelord? Oh.
Yeah, it is kind of funny, Ben, because it really depends on the font that's installed in the system or in the terminal. It's just.
I mean, you see it in like Steam reviews, you see it in Twitch chat, and sometimes it works. Sometimes it don't.
Sometimes it works great, sometimes it doesn't. LWW was pretty successful. I tried it with about 50 different styles.
If it couldn't handle 4 letters, I would be disappointed.
Yeah, this is true.
Just a little bit of you like, I don't know. We might need to revisit this. Pretty neat. Again, that's going to be in the show notes. I play guitar every now and then.
Yeah, you do, Ben.
It's if I had all my guitars out and somebody, I've had this happen. They've walked in. I got a couple of amps. And I'm like, hey, do you play music? I'm like, no, never touched them. Then they didn't know what to say because they realized that was a rhetorical thing, right?
Yeah.
7, 8 guitars, couple of amps, bunch of pedals. Like, do you play? Like, just collect it. But I try to play. Past couple of years, I've been like, I'm going to get back to playing on regular things. I used to just jam all the time. I did. Plenty of bands growing up. All the fun things that you'd normally do as one does. Now, I even have a guitar in the studio in the right-hand corner on a guitar stand. to shame me into playing. Like it's looking at it right now, I've just ignored it. I have this ability because when I picked it up, I had to dust it off.
Oh, yeah.
I had to dust it off because the
Been a
last
while.
time, it's been probably 6-7 months since the last time I picked it up. And I keep it in here for the interfacing Linux thing.
Yeah, your videos. Yeah.
Like, okay. And I get it and I plug it in, dust it off first because I pick it. I'm like, ew. You gotta clean it off. Tune it, get things together. And this is the cruel thing because I end up putting like new strings on it every other time I play it because I go so long in between. But I'm thinking to myself, do I want to get an amp in here? Do I want to get my pedals in here and get all that wired in to the interface? Like, you know what? Let's try this thing that I heard about a couple of months ago, and I never got a chance to play around with it. And you might be familiar with stuff like this because if you play guitar, you play bass on Linux. This is a question I get very regularly. What type of amp modelers are available? And usually I'm going to steer you right towards Guitar X. That's the one with the impulse cabs. There's a couple of different models. And, well, not bad. Not bad by any stretch of the imagination, but nothing that it never quite hit the good enough for me. I'm like, let me just go grab a pedal and play around with it. Well, that's changed. This is absolutely legit. I was playing around with this when I was recording, and this is NAM, Neural Amp Modeler, and oh boy, this thing just wins. This thing just wins. I mean, it's free amp profiler. It's based on neural network emulator for guitar amps, and it's also available as an LV2. So what you can do is you can profile your own amps, your own stomp boxes, any other gear. Or here's the really cool part. Then you can head over to Tone Hunt, where other people have done this with their cabinets and their distortion pedals and chorus pedals. And this is like Proton DB.
Wow.
For amp sims. You can go through, people have ratings on them. It shows you the downloads. You can do searches. You can find your amps, impulses, stomp boxes, anything that you can think of. And I had a great time playing around with this. This is me excusing how bad the guitar playing, aside from not playing for like 7 months and like sitting down here and I'm like, I'm just going to play something real quick, just to show you that we can get signal through the audio interface. And that led to me, I was probably in here for like an hour and 45 minutes just playing with this.
Oh, that's like cool, Vin.
Kid in a candy store just having all this, and it sounds good. It sounds good.
Great.
I mean, it's not 1-to-1, but it's close enough. Like you hear that and you're like, yeah, I could make an album with that. Like that's got the right sound to it. And a couple of things though. You need the LV2 is not going, the LV2 plugins not going to work out of the box with Reaper. You're going to have to use Reaper Nightly if you want to play around with that, but it should work out of the box without Door. So if that's what you're using, go ahead and plug that in. And the only thing I warn you against is decision paralysis, because that kind of comes up really quick when you have thousands and thousands of models to play around. You will spend hours and hours of tinkering, that's what I did. And you probably shouldn't spend a couple hours playing a guitar after you haven't touched one in a couple of months because you have no calluses on your finger.
Yeah.
And you'll pay for that in the upcoming days. So I just wanted to give that a shout out. Neural Amp Modeler. If you play guitar, bass, or keyboard, and you're looking for something to feed that through, it's low latency. You can use it in real time. It's just fun. It reminds me of like the first time I sat down with a MAME machine where somebody had loaded a couple of hundred different arcade games on it. It's like, I don't even know where to start.
Yeah, overwhelming.
Yeah, there's just so much to play with, and on the musical side. And I don't have a ton of pedals. I probably got like 20 or 30 90s era, 2000 era, some digital, some analog pedals. But like, not having to deal with that. Like,
yeah, that's really sweet. I don't know about the guitar end of it, but I do know a little bit about software synthesizers because I played around with a lot of the the hacks the community did with Zen Abs Subflux and created some music with that. And I spent hours doing that. That was a lot of fun.
Pretty decent. Yeah. So yeah, go check it out. Neural Amp Modeler. And you can do it, but like, any signal you can feed it through this. So if you play the digital beep bop stuff, you can still run it through this. And
it'll probably work with the synth too, MIDI.
Oh, it works with synth, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Just put it in the plugin chain. Put the plugin somewhere in the signal chain and come out.
Cool.
And some are good, some are not. Let's just be honest. It's like some people have done like really good models of their hardware. Some people haven't. And then you got to play around with like gain input. It's a good weekend project. If you've been looking for an excuse to plug your guitar in and like burn an afternoon, this will do it for you. This will do it for you. Now, if you want to burn some money, you can head over to patreon.com/Linux Gamecast. Help us out and do what we do, helping people Linux since 2010. We got a bunch of little bonus things that we kick back if you can spare $1 a week, $1,000 a week, $100,000 a week, or about $350. Access to the live and uncut versions of these shows. This is just the nice pulp-free middle section. You get the pre-show, you get the post-show, and you get the video version of all that. Early cracks at anything I'm working on behind the scenes. That interfacing Linux, that's going to be up. You're going to get access to that a couple of days beforehand. Just take a peek at it. Make sure everything's all right. Be the final judge. Maybe I need to make some changes. You get to decide and be part of that process. Access to our super secret Discord where we're at the other 6 days of the week. Talking our nonsense. And I really wish I could give you a topic about what we talk about, but it just goes to many places.
Yeah. Yeah, especially since everyone's on the one feed and it just keeps, there'll be like 3 different conversations going on at the same time. It's really
Gotta have those conversations going on. And, I understand some people, because nothing makes me sadder than going into, because we normally keep active for about 80 to 100 people in Discord.
Yeah.
And I'll go into Discords with like 200-300 people. And what they have is like 60 rooms.
Yeah, separate rooms, yeah.
And nobody's talking on it. Like, you got to get the group together. Come hang out. We simplified. We got general and we got live. So you can come play with us. Me and Jill do a thing on Tuesdays and Fridays.
Yeah.
Trackmania. We did that last night. I think everybody had a good time playing around with that.
Yeah.
Biatko showed up.
Yeah, that was great. Biatko showed up. I even did a little practice last night, Ven.
You did?
Yeah.
Were we playing Mario Brothers?
No, Trackmania.
Oh, okay.
I just practiced through like 4 maps that were giving me some trouble. So.
Yeah, a lot of people had a surprisingly difficult time aiming their cars in a straight direction.
Yeah, that was I still haven't gotten through that one.
That was surprising. We start out with a fun little LOL map, and it's always like silly.
Yeah.
And all the maps are varying degrees of silly. Let's be honest. It's physics platforming with a car. And this one is basically just have to go to straight line with some drops and deal with the physics ramifications of that. Man, the excuses came out hard and fast.
Yeah.
In the first 5 seconds, my controller's dead spots.
Yeah, I know. I just had a hard time keeping the car straight. And so I've figured, I try practicing with the keyboard and I'll do that.
Yeah, I did it with the keyboard because I saw Turbo was, he's like, oh, try it with the keyboard. I'm like, yeah, it's not too bad. But I can just do it with my old rickety bright red PS4 controller. Oh, I thought it was still on. I'm like, well, you've been on all night, haven't you, little buddy? Which doesn't cut off by itself, Sony. I'm not excusing that. The Microsoft controller's smart enough to cut itself off after 9 minutes. This thing will just happily run until the batteries run out.
Yeah.
Which is weird. Speaking of stuff like that, we have Amazon wishlist. If you want to pick up anything for Jill Bryant, she will wave it around in front of a camera, hug it, and tell you that you're her new favorite person until the next person gets something for her. I will do the exact same, but I'll one up that deal. I'll put your name back here on the wall, but that's going to cost you. All of that's going to be available at linuxgamecast.com under the support tab. We do appreciate anything you can kick our way. Just come hang out with us live. Come watch the show. Doesn't cost a thing. Say hello. Now,
Yeah.
time for Slice Pie. This led to a little bit in the pre-show of definitely showing our age, but also it reminded me of Max Headroom, Joe.
Yeah, it sure did. So you used to need a lot of equipment to be a video DJ and create live effects in time with hypnotic beats. But now you actually can do all that with a Raspberry Pi Zero and a device called the Recur Boy. The Recur Boy is an awesome Raspberry Pi Zero video instrument and a modern video synth with all the bells and whistles, and it's small enough to fit in your pocket. And this is created by Cyberboy666. So with the Recur Boy, you can trigger clips and run shaders to create and manipulate SD video. You can have fun mangling video using old school analog psychedelic effects combined with digital effects with its knobs and potentiometers. And it has 4 modes: video, shader, effects, and external input. I mean, this developer thought of everything. The video mode plays video straight off of the SD card through the Recur Boy's composite video out. Shader mode lets you program your own shaders using the GLES shader. Effects mode overlays your shaders on the video that's playing. And the external mode allows you to plug in a USB video capture card or a webcam. And that's really cool. That's where the Max Headroom part comes in. You can load the classic Max Headroom animation from a onboard card or externally from a VHS
That really
tape.
got me thinking about it, man. I'm like, where's the Max Headroom VTuber?
Yeah. Yes, the VTubers.
I want to be a belligerent Pepsi spokesman.
Yeah. and we can do blipverts with this device.
Right. I can make people explode from the comfort
Yes.
of my own home.
So true. Max Headroom. And it's really cool also because you can plug in a MIDI controller and control it all externally. And it's a great device for doing live DJ sets. And that's, being able to do stuff like this live and manipulate video live is really incredible because it takes hundreds of hours to make animation for music videos. And I know that because I've done a lot of that. And it's nice to have a live option where you can just spontaneous create really cool video.
Your hundreds of hours of work can be replaced by a guy twiddling a knob.
Yeah. In some cases, yes. In many other cases, no. But it's the Recur Boy uses fully open source hardware and can be purchased as a kit to build yourself for £90 or pre-assembled for only £135. Although currently, when I checked yesterday, it was out of stock. And I think it's because it's been getting a lot of press and out there, and people have been buying them. So I'm sure we'll see more in stock soon.
Oh, yeah.
And the developer said the Raspberry Pi Zero is not included due to supply shortages, so you will need to buy one separately when you can find one. And it's easily plugged in the back of the unit to get started. So I was just really impressed with all the thought that went into this, and he thought of every circumstance that a DJ would need, to do live performance. And it's inexpensive. It doesn't cost thousands of dollars to have an effects box or a mixer.
No, I mean, it's definitely got a nice little retro vintage thing going on with it.
Yeah.
And flexibility, something you can build at home for yourself, and it's a lot safer, a lot more responsible than like Spike and the Punch at the party just to get the effects and psychedelic colors for everyone. So maybe that's something you want to check out. All right, Joe.
Yeah.
We're running a little bit long. We gotta
Okay.
run. I know.
Okay.
I know. So let's bring the music up. Speaking of like
Yay!
ooncy wooshy music,
Our little bouncy, happy music that still hasn't changed, even though I like it. He said he was going to change it because I like it. It's really
thanks for
fun.
reminding me.
So yeah, this is a great music for the Recur Boy to do some video synth with. Thank you, our Theron, our advisors and Omegas, and our executive producers, Barbara and Scott. The credits are going by too quickly. I can't read them all.
We got plenty of
have-
people all over Sea Monsters, Death Notes, all the stages that you can achieve and unlock and get
On our
achievements
Patreon.
for. Lots of turtlings. They're really small. All right. Episode 378.
Yay!
We're going to wind it up. It disappears.
WW.
Boop. Great, great, great. You know it. All right, beautiful people. We'll see you next week.
Yay! Bye, everyone. Love you all. I love it when I can't pronounce LWDW. That's a tongue twister.
Like, ultimately, it's not really pronounceable now, is it?
I know. It's hard. It's a hard one. That's why I repeated.
I mean, it's
that sentence.
LWDW and like the number 13 silent.
Yeah.
Okay, look, I remember to stop recording.
Oh.
Good. Now that's going to give us
Bye,
about
Steve husband.
8 gigs. Steve, taking your breaks.
Yeah, he is.
I'm surprised Steve doesn't have a typewriter in his cubicle.
Actually, he might have at one point in his career at his workplace because he's been there so long.
Steve, did you ever have a typewriter at work?
Do, 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 do.
Nope.
Nope.
Was that because they didn't trust you to use one? Or?
Do, do, do.
Man. Like, even in the 80s, Ben, my typing classes were on computers, so, right? When was the last time? Where would you even encounter? Like, I'm sure stenography machines are
Yeah, Steno.
digital now. Oh man, those things look dope. Okay, this is the
The
keyboard.
digital stenography.
Look at these bad boys.
Oh, neat. Oh. And the appropriate length to a traditional typewriter, too. Huh.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, but that one doesn't look as cool as the other one, though.
Yeah,
Like, I want this one.
That's awesome. We had a stenography class in high school.
Ooh, this one's kind of neat.
And I didn't take it. I was busy with other things, but it was pretty amazing. It was my typing teacher, and she taught Steno, and it's definitely a well-paying job.
So now I want to know if there's like stenography hipsters that like have mechanical. There's mechanical switches for them, so they can make noise in the courtroom
Yeah.
like they used to. Like, it's just not the same without. Yeah, that's pretty wild. Yeah, I couldn't tell you the last time. Even growing up, typewriters were a novelty.
Oh, okay.
Like, you definitely, like, just growing up in the 80s, like, we had PCs. I'm sure some people still use typewriters in the 80s.
Yeah. My typing class, we had classic typewriters that the teacher wanted us to use, but we also had the in between the word processors, typing devices, and then of course we had computers too. But the typing teacher wanted us on distraction-free device, so we were on typewriters.
It was pretty easy to do a distraction-free device back then.
Yeah. But also the workforce was still, a lot of them were still using those typing word processors.
We had Apple IIs, and there was at the keyboard and had a plate over the keyboard.
Yeah.
Set down. Like,
We had that too. Yeah. Not in typing class. I was in my computer class, but typing teacher was a bit old, wanted to use, but you know, at that time people were still had typewriters in the workforce. So this is early 80s. Early 80s.
Yeah. Didn't do me any good. I'd already, by the time I was at like primary school, like I already had keyboards, man. Like I'd already taught myself to type incorrectly. It was too late for me. Like I'd learned to hunt and pack at 45 plus words a minute. Like, there's no going back. To this day, I don't use my pinkies when I type.
Oh, okay.
These are useless devices. They're always like lifted when I type. I always type with like it's like my hunt and pack, my middle three, thumb on the space bar. I always got to look down to find my home keys. I can get close though. I still remember that. I think it was like a teenager when I realized, like, because I'd always like peek down, and the only thing I can't do is I can't look to my left and type.
Oh.
Accurately. Like because I have this monitor like directly here.
Yeah.
Not like a little bit. Hard, you know. And if I'm looking over here trying to type with a keyboard over here, that my brain doesn't like that. I can do it, but I can't do it efficient. It's not like I can hammer out sentences. I gotta like think about it for a second. I don't know where that wiring is or why it's miswired.
Because it's not right in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I get that. I'm kind of the same way. I have it front and center, even though, you know, I don't have to look down at a keyboard to use it. I like to be in front of the monitor.
I have to, when I start typing, I can ballpark it, but I always want to check something because I don't have any feeling in this left hand.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So I have to visually align it.
Yeah.
And once I have my alignment, I'm good.
Yeah, so you couldn't feel that home button anyways.
No.
With F or J.
Well, I mean, can I?
Mm-hmm.
You know what? If I rub like my wrist on it, I can kind of feel it. But then I feel all the other keys around it, so it kind of defeats the point. Yeah, it's easy to do with the split key. It's really easy to do with this keyboard because it's physically split. You know, the keys.
That I can see why it's easier for you to use.
Mentally, my home keys are like T, G, and B.
Oh,
because I know those are the three keys on that, which just means I need to shift over one.
Yeah.
And there's my F. A little mental gymnastics. You work around problems.
Yeah.
So let's go run out and buy our Apple VRs.
Yeah. Vision Pro.
It's just so... I don't know.
Might as well buy a really high-end game system instead of that. No.
Well, I mean, you could buy like the Valve Index and a gaming PC to go along with it for that price.
Exactly. You can buy a Steam Deck, a Valve Index and a gaming computer for the price of the.
But it's Apple.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd like to be wrong. You get to imagine, like, Apple started developing this, like 6-7 years ago.
Yeah.
And you remember how hyped up VR was?
Yeah, that was amazing. Everyone
It got crazy hyped up. Like, everyone
Yeah.
was like, we're going to do everything in VR. And people were like leaving, what's his name? The guy from Tested, Will. Like, left Tested to start his own VR talk show company or something. Like, I mean, it was like people were getting money thrown at him. Like, this isn't going to, and Valve, Valve like released the original, not the original, but their first version. And, we're getting 2 versions out of that, their VR system. And we even got a new Half-Life game. But, like, that, I don't know if you want to say, like, the hype is gone. I think it's finally, like, normalized. So, like, because I always assume the same amount of people, roughly, who would have VR headsets are about the same amount of people that have full racing setups at home.
Yeah. Yeah.
The pedals, the wheels, and all that. Like, they're out there, but when I feel the same way when I come over to somebody's house and they got a VR setup. I'm like, oh, that's neat. One of those people got one of those things set up. That's pretty cool. But it's not enough of those people to, like, have, like, a really big market,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's still a niche, really. Niche market.
And Facebook tried to, or have attempted to make it easier.
Yeah.
Like, what is it, like the Quest or whatever the little one they have?
Yeah. Well, when Meta took over,
well, they started the whole Meta thing, right?
Yeah.
And like just from the get-go of Meta, and like, we're doing the VR world, and like, that's not going to work. That's dumb. We didn't like that. No, don't. Why are you doing this? This is not what people are looking for. And it didn't seem like to me, I didn't feel like I was a lone voice of reason. And I was like, yeah, everyone else sees how dumb this is, right? Like, well, they're little avatars and we're going to do meetings. Like, no, we're not.
Yeah, the Oculus, this latest version has a lot of the technology that the Vision Pro has, which is good, but it didn't catch on either. So, although they have gotten better and better with each iteration, like the Apple one will be better and better, but the Apple, their kind of main focus is personal portable computers. So they have a little bit different focus, which might be this might have been the smart choice in this case to get more adoption.
I look at it like this. If you can't convince people that wearing crap on their head to play fun, entertaining, and engaging video games, they're not going to buy that. It's going to be harder to sell them on doing productivity with stuff on their head.
Yeah.
But who knows? Like, I like the idea. I always thought, I still maintain that if it's lightweight, wireless, and I don't have to worry about it, something that would be like a high fidelity experience of that could simulate monitors, high resolution monitors, where I can move them and have them anywhere, but have it completely like viable, like not like lower res or anything. Like, it'll get there eventually. I still think we're so far off from that reality, though.
I know. Same here. And that's what I want. Also, when you only see out of one eye for people with visual impairment, it's horrible to use those. So they've got to fix that too, so that everyone can use that. And they have gotten better with that. The Apple one, apparently, people who can wear glasses can get prescriptions for the Apple one, which is really nice. But for me, what I want is there was a company working on one where it wasn't 2 different lenses. It was just one big panel. And that's what I need. Something that's just that you don't have to see stereo to use it and get sick. So,
Yeah,
but they have come a long way with that.
And with the Fresnel lenses, like the depth of field, augmented reality. What was that company that was in stealth mode forever that was doing the AR, and everyone would get demos and people were talking about them, and they're like, "Oh, this is great, and what was the name of that company? I can't remember. They were doing something like what the Apple device is, and like when they finally released it, I don't even think they released the developer kit, and it was like multiple thousands.
That's right. We talked about it on LWW years ago.
Nothing significant ever came out of this. I don't know. I'm curious where Apple's at, because they put a lot of time and money into developing this, and of course they started. You got to shoot your shot. I think this device would have made more sense if it was still at like the hype level of VR, when everyone's like, VR is going to be the thing, and it's going to be the future of all the things. And now I'm like, it's kind of normalized. I'm looking at this device. I'm like, maybe somebody do something cool with it. You don't know, but I'm not going to make believe and pretend. Like, we'll see. It's a very, very expensive toy.
Yeah. Well, maybe, they're banking on it. It might not get popular now, but maybe in a few years from now, it'll be all the rage again, because they're small and portable, and they could be used more like you use your cell phone. I think that's a market, definitely. And Steve has been, I was talking to Ven about that with Nova, because he has a Stardust XR technology, which a lot of that is in the Apple developed in their Vision OS for the new Vision Pro. And he tweeted out, by the way, everyone, that's what I'm working on for Linux. That's one of is an operating system inside the headset. So. And we interviewed him, and he's been here on LWW and interviewed several scales in a row. And he's really come a long way with that and has a lot of development behind it. And it was neat to see his live demo at scale. It was really impressive.
We'll see. I mean, for me, it boils down to, I don't think people like wearing stuff on their head.
Yeah.
It is just like this very, very simple thing that needs to be addressed for no matter how cool it is. If we can get down to glasses.
If we can get as small as Google Glass, then we have something like right? Google that Glass, quality.
Right?
Yeah.
Wireless.
Yeah.
No tethers. I mean, it will happen eventually. We all want that like cyberpunk digital future contact lens.
Yeah.
And just pop the lenses right in your eyes.
I mean, they do have right now. There's a company making the small the glasses that are like an extra monitor. Mm-hmm. And that's cool because it's nice and small and thin and out of your way. I was even thinking of buying one for my brother as a gift because I think he would like it. But yeah, as long as we keep doing development on it, I think we will have that VR future. But it's just going to take longer than people thought.
It'll get there.
Yeah.
It'll get there, and with Apple's hit or miss. I mean, this could be an iPod moment, or this could be
the biggest tank. Yeah,
Newton moment.
Yeah, the Newton. I have a Newton in my collection.
Not everything's a safe bet, or it could be our trash can Mac.
Yeah, no, that they stopped production on because it started overheating and having issues.
Nobody bought them.
Yeah.
Can't innovate. Like, we've made a round computer. I'm like, that's neat. Good luck upgrading anything in that.
Hard to upgrade.
They just laugh. I'm like, we're Apple. What do you mean upgrade? Buy another one. That's what you got to do with the new Mac Pros, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
You better make sure you know exactly how much RAM your application is going to need in the future, because you're not adding any later.
Oh, yeah, Steve Husband. That's where right now the goggles are good for, is for in the tool industry and training and repair. Because
industrial applications.
Yeah, industrial. They're actually being used for that now. And that makes sense.
That's what Google Glass was kept around as long as it was for. I mean, that was what it was sold and marketed to after they realized that for whatever reason, man, I almost bought a pair of Google Glass. I had a chance to.
Same here. Yeah.
But man, those things got so unpopular so quick. There was like this weird backlash to them.
I know.
And by that time, it's like, you know what? I still wanted one to be able to carry around and like take pictures and stuff like that. Like I thought that was going to be neat and like video clips, but I didn't want to deal with anybody like having the misapplication of judgment to come up to me and like trying to give me static for that. Like, we're not doing this. So I didn't need that in my life. But yeah, I don't think I would ever go out and about with the Apple thing on my head, man.
Yeah, no.
I mean, people will, because there's the type of people that want you to look at them. And I'm like, all right.
See them at Starbucks.
You will, man.
Yeah. You see all the hipsters at Starbucks with their...
See all the trust fund babies with $3,400 to burn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Atomic would.
I might do one, like, and then you're going to be in the Apple ecosystem. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's... I see, honestly, I don't want one until I can put Linux on it, so it's going to be a while. I'm going to put Nova software on there.
You just got to make sure that you buy them at the right point when they're like super low in value, but before people start collecting them.
Yeah.
There's always that sweet little dip when you can get a hold of hardware before the hoarders show up and they're like, I want it now. And then I see that stuff on Price Tracker. I'll look at it's like, why are these so expensive? I'm like, oh, that's why. All right, people are collecting them now. Got it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so much for me trying to buy one to use. Mm-hmm. No, I'm not bitter about stuff like that at all. Not even a little bit. People do it with audio equipment too, which is even more infuriating. There's this one guy on eBay. I haven't figured out what his thing is. He buys pretty much any Orban stuff that comes up for sale, and he puts it on his eBay page to sell it, but it's like $200 overpriced. It is priced to where no one would ever buy it. And you look, he doesn't sell any of it. Like, everyone who looks at it, like, no. Like,
oh, wow.
And he's the guy who's always trolling around, like, Guitar Center Reverb and, like, music around buying anything that shows up. And it ends up on his eBay thing. I'm like, what are you doing? I think it is just his excuse to have his collection.
Oh, okay.
I was like, no. This is my business. See, I'm like, you surely priced it where no one would ever buy any of it. So, bitter sauce? I don't know. But I like mushroom ketchup. I don't like sweet ketchup. The tomato sugar stuff that people have here. It's not very good. It's too sweet. I mean, some people like it though, right?
Yeah, I like it once in a while, but I'm not a huge ketchup fan.
I mean, if you're gonna have
like,
get some proper ketchup.
Yeah.
Some chalk shop. That's the real stuff.
Yeah.
Real chocolate and ketchup. People like silverware?
Spoon! Steve Husband. He did like the tick. Spoon! I want my spoon!
I got a good set of stainless steel cutlery and spoons and forks, and I'm good. All right, everyone. I got to go to the podcast making part.
Yes.
in the video cast, making part.
Netcast.
The netcast. What happens if we search for netcast?
There are a couple shows that are using that. You know, Leo actually did kind of start a thing.
Welcome to the Netcast Church.
Oh boy. No. Netcasts.
Netcast. Later Smart TV, the legacy platform, proprietary firmware by LG Electronics.
Oh. Yeah, I typed netcast with an S. So then I got, of course, Twit came up. Netcast podcast series.
Well, if I have to type in podcast after it, why am I typing in netcast?
Yeah.
Computer science and audiophile radio broadcast. Yeah.
Pretty funny.
All right. Cool, everyone. Have a great rest of your week if we don't catch up. I think tomorrow Jordan's going to be back with Armadillo. They're going to be playing a little bit more of that. They got some multiplayer. Empty joined in last week, and I don't think anybody knows how to play it outside of like Jordan and maybe Mir. So it's fun to watch. It's entertaining. It's grid-based murder animals that are adorable.
Yeah.
That they fight and they slice each other up, and there's some type of card game involved. So
yeah.
That's going to be that.
And I haven't played that in a while. Armadillo.
This Friday, I'm back with Trackmania. Going to do that Saturday. We got Light Scheme Cast, 8:30, and that's going to wrap it up for the week. Enjoy the rest of your week, everybody. We'll see you later.
Yeah. Yeah, Foxy was an expert on Armello because, well, it's